Well, hello everybody. This week I didn't travel anywhere. In fact, I kind of did. I uh, traveled to see my friends to the north of the Netherlands, to a city called Hoorn, the city of horny people. That's my bad humor, sorry. Yeah, but I didn't travel there to take pictures. I did take my camera and I did take a couple of shots, which I'll probably put somewhere here. I don't think anything special came out of there. Yeah, but I haven't seen the pictures on the big screen yet, so we'll see. Um, then, so it was Saturday. Then Sunday, again, I didn't go anywhere. I did go to my butcher, and for that, I took a fancy ferry that took me from my place to the center of Rotterdam, which was my first experience ever doing that. There, I also took a couple of pictures, but again, nothing substantial, like nothing to make a video of. But Monday, the 27th of April, was quite a big day here in the Netherlands because it's something that they call King's Day. And King's Day took quite some preparation on my side. But before I explain what happened, I need to explain what King's Day is. That's pretty much how photographers survive in the 21st century with AI on and stuff like that. Yeah, some of my favorites. Oh, and me myself. Oh, lots of people selling stuff, and I'm also the people selling stuff. So it's been 6.5 hours of me sitting here. I saw 25 pictures. And what I really like about all of this is that people are actually interested. I have had a lot of lovely chats about the pictures that I took, the stories behind them. And I think that might be a nice idea for me to record a video about my favorite pictures and how I took them. So yeah, just some random inspiration. In the meantime, the weather is surprisingly good. Yeah, my memory, King's Day has always been quite sunny. I know what they do. Maybe the king is just lucky. If you don't know what King's Day is, it's basically the entire country is celebrating the king's birthday. And people get drunk, high, happy, and all this kind of stuff. And also, it's the only day when you can legally trade things in the street. Yeah, it's kind of like a national hobby. That's why I have my stand with pictures. And people go crazy. And I like it. Probably the King's Day is the day when you start understanding Dutch culture, that they actually have a culture. It's just maybe not as obvious as in the UK, China, and many other countries. But yeah, Holland does have its own culture. So King's Day is the day when the entirety of the Netherlands celebrates the king's birthday. What this means is that people get drunk, get high, get drunk and high, pee in the streets, but at the same time, you feel the cultural vibe of the country, because apart from all those fabulous things that I have described, they also turn everything into orange, because it's like the national color. So everything is orange, people have fun, have parties outside. But what I was primarily interested in was the free market. So what is free market? As some people might know, the Netherlands is a heavily regulated country. So here you cannot do anything without having to report it to the government, including sales. But on King's Day, it's the only day when you can take your stuff, go to the streets wherever you want, and start selling them. You don't have to get a permission. You don't have to pay for the spot that you're occupying. So it's kind of nice to see that the entire country turns into a big flea market. And people literally sell all kinds of stuff. Like some people sell, like my friends last year, one was selling matcha, the other one was selling handmade jewelries. Some people sell complete rubbish, like I don't even know how to describe this rubbish, like things that you just randomly pick from the floor and just bring to the market. Yes, and on my side, I had kept this idea for quite a while, at least since last year. I wanted to print my pictures and sell them in the format of postcards. So the thing is that, oh, I even have one here, maybe not the best one. Ah, wait, I have better pictures here. So the idea is that I just print those pictures for my notebook. Yeah, it's a tradition that I acquired last year because not many people see my pictures, and I just wanted to keep them as a memory. So in my notebook, when I go somewhere and I take a picture on that day, I print it and attach it to the day in the notebook. Hoping that many years later, when I have my children and my days are gone, my children will just open the notebooks and see that their father lived quite an interesting life, or at least he could present it in an interesting way. Yeah, that's quite a depressing chain of thought, I know. But yeah, so I acquired this tradition, but there is a limited number of pages in my notebook, and I print way more pictures. So I had accumulated quite a lot of residuals over the months, and the pictures looked quite nice. And I thought, well, okay, let's see whether people like them. So I selected around 60 pictures that I have taken throughout the past 12 years from different countries. There were Portugal, China, Italy, the Netherlands, bits of Russia as well. I actually was surprised that I managed to find some Russian pictures. And yes, I printed them and went to the city center of Rotterdam to sell my pics. Again, in the format of postcards, labeled as postcards from all over the world. And the idea was not to sell them for the sake of money, because, well, let's be honest, 50 euros that I earned yesterday don't really contribute much to my monthly budget. But I just wanted to kind of expose my photography to a wider audience and also discuss photography as an art. Yes, because when you just post pictures online, people put likes. In the best case scenario, they leave a comment, but that's it. And I wanted to change it somehow. So I found a spot around Rotterdam Black. It was a super nice spot. I mounted my camera with a 200 to 500 on a tripod. To that, I attached a sign saying like, yeah, postcards from all over the world, prices, and there was a blanket with my pictures. And why am I talking about this? Well, the thing is that I found it quite interesting that people were approaching me. They were buying pictures. I saw like 27, I believe, or so. Yeah, but they were picking pictures that I wouldn't pick myself. Like there were some pictures that I thought, well, they were kind of my personal masterpieces. And they didn't go that well. Like they did eventually get sold, but the pictures that attracted people's eyes were just like okayish pictures. And then I engaged in conversations. People were telling me like, oh, this picture is good because of this and this reason. This picture is fabulous, like it has some like symmetry, compositional tricks, which I personally didn't really think about. Yes, because when you've been doing photography for many years, your perception of beauty and a good picture kind of changes. Yes, so that was the market. I was surrounded by some nice people. Yeah, people were selling some beautiful things. Like I got a bookmark signed with my name in Chinese, also a handmade, like hand knitted croissant, which is super cute. Now it's on my improvised fridge door. Yeah, it was a brilliant experience, but it also made me think, well, I mean, people have such different perceptions, but what they really valued is the stories that I was telling them behind my pictures. So, like, each and every picture in my deck had a story behind it. Maybe not the most interesting story, but there was something. There was a piece of me. And that encouraged me to make this video, especially because, well, I didn't travel anywhere, but I committed myself to making one video a week, more or less. So yeah, I thought, why not tell people about my favorite pictures that I took, like, and why I think they are my best pictures. Yes, so that's the format today, and I have selected 3 pictures. I believe all the 3 of them were printed during King's Day. Yeah, and they did get sold, but the thing is, I want to tell you the story behind them. And the first picture that I want to talk about is the picture from, oh my God, from 2015. So it was 12 years ago, 11 years ago. 11 years ago, oh my God. Yes, the story. So it was my first time in the UK. Better phrased, it was my first time abroad without supervision. Now, don't think about bad things. Now, I wasn't like engaging in binge drinking, like drugs and all other forbidden things. No, but for me, it was a completely unique experience. I went to the UK on a language course, completely alone. My English at that time was terrible. I spoke like that, like with a Sikh Russian accent. I hope it has improved over the years, but never mind. So yeah, but at that time I already was deeply into photography. And one of the ideas that I had was that I would study English during the weekdays, and during the weekend I would travel. And I found this beautiful place in some of the travel guides, which is called Beachy Head. Beachy Head is a cape that is located in the south of the UK, not far away from Brighton. I believe it's like around 20 kilometers away from Brighton. And it's famous for cliffs. So it's like a white, beautiful cliff that goes down to the sea, and there are rocks that are being washed by the sea and the waters. And it looks extremely epic. And my idea was like, yes, I want to shoot this landscape. So I went to Brighton, and from Brighton, I went to Beachy Head. There was a bus that was connecting the city to the Cape. And when I went there, the weather was terrible. It was just unbearably bad. It was super windy and it was drizzling. And when I approached the end of the Cape, a local person, I think he was like a guardian or something, and he told me like, "Sir, please stay away from the cliff." I was like, yeah. I was 17. So, yeah. I approached the cliff, and it was beautiful, but I encountered this situation that the thing is beautiful, it doesn't look beautiful in the picture. At that time, I wasn't really that skilled in photography. Even though I had my tripod, I didn't play around with long exposure, I didn't have ND filters with me, or I did have a polarizer though, and that was it. So the pictures that I took of the Cape were okay, and then I managed to get back from the edge of the cliff, and only after that I learned that Beachy Head was a favorite place for people to kind of, yeah, I mean, a terrible thing, but such a beautiful place to do that. Really, if you ever go to the UK, go to Beachy Head to admire, not to. So yeah, but okay, well, I was content with the picture that I took. Well, not quite, because yeah, the weather was bad and everything. And then I just looked around, and oh my God, I saw that infinite field with grass of different colors, like layered next to each other. And right in front of me, there was a beautiful bench, an old bench covered with mold or what's that moss? Yeah, the word is moss, I believe. Yes. So I just took my camera. I don't think I played around with the settings, and I don't even have the exif of this file anymore. But I believe it was F4. So I focused on that bench, tried to play around with the composition to show the spaciousness of this picture, of this location, and took the shot. And then it ended up being a picture that I'm kind of known for in Russia, among the people who know me. It's called the bench picture in our slang. Like my dad, I believe he has printed it in his bedroom. He even last year he even asked me to find the original of this picture because he wanted to show it to his friend. I was like, huh, cool. So this picture, yes, it has something in it, something unexplainable, which I infinitely value about it. Yes, and then the continuation of the story is that I was so amazed by the view that I missed the last bus. And I was alone in the middle of nowhere without a bus. And there was a lone car in the car park. And, well, I couldn't see anything inside the car because the windows were steamed. But I was desperate. So I knocked on the window. And then the window went down. And there was a couple. And they were like, "Wow, what was the problem, mate?" And I was like, "I missed the last bus. Could you please be kind enough to just drive me to the nearest town so that I could take a bus to get to Brighton?" And they drove me. And I still remember the guy's name. His name was Leon. And I hope that he is doing extremely well, even though what are the chances that he will see this video? Yeah, negligible. So that is the story behind the bench picture. 2015, beach ahead. The second picture, and I believe this picture comes from China, from Sichuan. And for me, it has an intrinsic value because it was the series from which I got back to photography. So the thing is that around 2018, 19, I kind of forgot about photography because at some point I just realized that I wasn't good at it. I thought I wasn't able to produce anything that would be remarkable and compete with the masterpieces out there. So my passion was fading away, and by 2024, the camera had been traveling with me to different places, but I would never take it. And then before my scheduled trip to China, it was a 45-day-long trip, I just looked at my poor camera, at that time the D750. And I was like, that's right, the time. And why was that the time? Well, because if you are of my age or maybe a little bit older, you might remember a YouTube channel called Digital Ref TV. So it's like a channel that specialized in sometimes funny, sometimes really interesting videos about cameras and photography. And some people even called it the Top Gear of photography. And this show was made in Hong Kong. Oh, not quite China, yes, but the setup is quite similar. So after that, like since my childhood, I had really wanted to go to Asian streets with my photography and do some street photography. So that was right the time. I took my camera to China and just thought, okay, let it be. I did take some street photography in China, but the true passion came when we went to something that's called Chuanxi. If you're Chinese, Duibuqi, I don't know how to pronounce it. I tried. So yeah, Chuanxi is a mountain range in the Sichuan province, not far away from Chengdu. And on that day, we went to the White Mountain. I was like 5,000 meters above the sea level. Imagine how difficult it was in terms of oxygen. So we went there in the morning. I think it was around 10 o'clock or so. And we were extremely unlucky because the White Mountain was covered with clouds. The sky was completely overcast. But I wasn't losing my hopes. I was standing there at the viewing point, hoping for some beam of light to come through the skies. And my prayers were heard. Just at some point, there was a tiny gap in the sky from which the sun was getting through, and it was falling right on a pathway somewhere along one of the mountains, and it just looked stunning. But from that viewing point, I couldn't shoot anything because the composition didn't really work out. But I saw that there was a little, like, I don't know, plateau if you would go down the hill. So I just took my camera. It was like, yeah, like 80 to 200 and D750 with the battery grip. I took it like that. And then I dashed down the mountain, and it was like this. Literally, it was like that steep. So I had my walking stick. I was like going down, reached the point, took my camera, and saw the beauty. It was precisely the photo that I wanted to take. Extremely breathtaking. And then the light was gone, the picture was taken. I climbed up, and I even have a video right after this moment. And if I find it, I will attach it somewhere there.
I took a shot of my masterpiece. Really.
Because I couldn't speak, like the air I was locking in the air. And yes, that was the picture. I don't know, every time I look at this picture, it's, yes, it brings memories. It depicts China the way I remember it. Vast, natural when it comes to nature, spacious and beautiful in its own way. Like this subtle beauty, not, like screaming beauty. That's what I remember China for. Oh my God, I miss China so much. I definitely need to go there one more time. Changxi as well, because I think I didn't do justice to the place. I could have taken way more pictures. Yes, so but that's story number 2. Story number 3, Portugal. I went there last April, and I went to Lisbon precisely because I wanted to go to Cape Roca. As you might have learned already, I like capes. But as a Russian student who was really keen on geography when I was a kid, I learned about Cape Roca when I was like 12, 13. And for me, it was a unique place because it is the westernmost point of Europe. And behind it, there is nothing. There's just a pure ocean. And the next piece of land that you will see is the Americas. So yeah, I went to Lisbon precisely because I wanted to go there. And I was determined to exercise all my skill, all my passion for photography, and all my enthusiasm to go to this place to produce a decent series of pictures. So I went to Cape Roca quite early in the morning, but I still arrived there only by 11. So the light was harsh, but I didn't give up. I was like, I will not leave until I take something decent. If it takes me to get the last bus from this place, I will do that. So I spent most of the day just scouting the place, looking for compositions, waiting for the right light, experimenting with different techniques.
Ta-da-pum, pum-pum-pum, pa-da-pum, pum-pum-pum, пам-пам-пам. Па-ра-пам, па-ра-пам, па-па-па, блядь. Па-па-пам, пам-пам-пам. Ай, сука. Ах. 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 О. Красиво.
I think I exercised a lot of professional rigor, I would say. It's because I was always working with a tripod. For me, it was important to get my composition right. And a tripod really teaches you how to do that. Well, my previous video kind of proves the opposite. But if you don't have a 200 to 500 and only a mid-tele range lens, it kind of works. The tripod really teaches you something. So yeah, I went there and I took several pictures, and I'm torn between which one of them is my favorite. I never really look at them as separate pictures. For me, they are a series. And for that, I used long exposure. Some pictures would take me like 6 to 8 seconds because I wanted to get this effect of clouds on the water. And that's what you get by blurring motion in the water. And the ocean was quite epic at that time. So yes, I believe I left at something past 7. So the sun was already setting, but I was leaving with a clear understanding that I had taken some nice photos there. And indeed, yes, now I look at them and they are nice, they are worthy. Maybe not award-winning, but they have my character and they conveyed this view that I had when I was taking the pictures. They conveyed the scene precisely as I saw it. And that's one of the reasons why I like photography. Because for me, it's not just a way to brag with my travels or with how fancy of equipment I have, or that I just have a fancy hobby. Now, for me, it's a way to share my personal perspective on the world, how I see it, and that's how I try to capture it. So like how I focus on elements, I want to show people like, that's how I see it. Looks cool, doesn't it? And if people agree, they agree. If they disagree, well, they disagree, it's absolutely fine. Yes, so that's maybe not a short story, but yeah, I just wanted to have this, to record this speaking head video, just to let you into my mind to understand how I see pictures, why some pictures are important to me, and why I take them in a certain way. Sometimes it's completely situational. Sometimes it's very intentional, like with Portugal. Yes. What can I conclude this video with? Is probably, I really like my hobby. Yes, I love my hobby. And if you ever think about which hobby to pick up, try photography. It is expensive. It is expensive. But it gives some inexplicable pleasure. Yes, so this will conclude the video for today. Thank you so much for watching it, if you have survived the almost 30 minutes of me mumbling about stuff. Yes, and if you liked it, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and yes, I will see you next week or the week after. Cheers!